Welcome, everyone, to CaFae Convos. I am CM Alonji. The C stands for Christina or Chris. I don't care. Use whichever one. And joining me today is a guy who's, I actually don't know your first name. I just know you as Dice and Autism.
My first name is Nate, but hello, everybody. My name is Dice and Autism. I tell stories on the internet. It's a pleasure to be on here.
Thank you. And thank you for coming. God, your name is Nate. I don't know if you follow this other guy on TikTok who does, like funny D&D related lists. And apparently there's a whole thing where he had a DM named Nathan who blew up the whole group because he cheated on his wife twice. And the wife was like a player. Like it's become a whole thing. I can't remember his name, but it's become like a whole joke of don't cheat on your wife with another player, Nathan.
I didn't know that.
So I'm sorry, your name is cursed. That's all I'm going to think about now.
Oh, man. Oh, that's hilarious.
I'm bad with names, but I'm going to remember yours now.
It's all good.
Well, for those of you who don't know you or who only know you a little bit, why don't you introduce yourself? What is Dice and Autism? What do you do?
Yeah, I tell D&D stories, primarily two different types of D&D stories, along with telling D&D jokes, because I feel like that's a requirement when you're a D&D content creator. You gotta tell the D&D jokes.
Yes, absolutely.
But I have two running series. You may know me from the Fighter Saga that follows Orlean as his journey of like the world and all that stuff and everything. I also have a kind of lighter series called Pack of the Father, where you have a young warlock whose dad is his patron, and he's like a little overprotective, but he loves him so dearly and everything. And I just enjoy telling stories through Dungeons and Dragons or any tabletop role-playing game because they're just really fun to do. Put them through those filters and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I'll be honest. I mostly only follow you like when I initially came across you for like your D&D skits, but like at the table skits. So like the dungeon master and the players, and like the player who's like the chaos gremlin is pulling back a little, and that's what stresses the DM out. Not the chaos that he brings naturally, but the fact that he's pulling back and not bringing chaos. So you just seem really stressed, dude. It's like, yeah, because you're not bringing the chaos. I don't know how to handle a regular, smooth game, dude. I only know how to handle your chaos.
Oh, pretty much.
Planning you this?
Yeah. I think that's kind of like the struggle with a lot of DLs. It's just kind of like they're just prepared for the absolute like chaotic things, and when you just have like a few players who are just like, I'm just gonna keep things casual, and then you're just like, what the fuck do I do with that?
It's because I've been a long time player, and I've only DM'd a couple of times. Like it's not that I can't DM; it's just it's a lot of work.
Oh yeah,
and I kind of don't. I kind of want to save my creative juices for my day job. Right? Like I'll be totally honest, but I'll do it. I've dipped my toes into it a couple of times, and my players, we're a group that we've been together since my brother was in high school over a decade at this point. It's a long-standing group, and it includes my dad too. And like they'll bring me they know how to handle new DMs because I'm not the only one that's kind of new to it. So they'll bring me some chaos, and I'll have to scramble to improvise. I'm a planner. I can plan for anything. I'll create a whole world, characters, all that stuff. But improvising anything else is just like, that's not the plan. I'm not going to punish you because that's a dick move. But like, I just want you to know you're stressing me out.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm very much of like an improv person because I have improv background and everything. So I'm just like, I'm always like, I always got like a card up my sleeve. It's like, oh, they're going this way. All right, let's go with it. Kind of like see what they throw at the table and see what chemicals we can use to like make a reaction out of this. So
I didn't know you'd like improv on stage, comedy group type of thing.
Yeah, I did. Like I first started out with like just I have a theater background and everything. Like I started off my whole thing with like theater and everything, and improv has just been.
So you have way more training for the content creation than I do. Got it. Like you were actually designed for this.
Well, I still don't feel like I'm designed for like content creating at times because there's also like a social marketing thing about it. Like you gotta market yourself, and I'm just like, I don't know how to do that. I just know how to like perform.
But that's what sales is. Like I say this as someone who has 5 years of sales experience before the book. Like sales is kind of performative a little bit. It's like you're just having a conversation, you're just matching energy, and you're giving a little performance with the 5 types of responses that you've been trained to do, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. All right. So I got a couple of questions, both from me and from my patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to ask a future interviewee of CaFae Convos a question, join my Patreon. It's linked in the description down below.
Hells.
I'll minimize the self plugs, I promise. So do you like, I guess I kind of want to know, like, you know, do you prefer being a D&D player or do you prefer DMing, or like, are you stuck as the forever DM because of what you do?
I kind of like, I've been doing a lot of DMing, and I do really enjoy playing DMing a lot. I think that's like my preferred play style, but I think every once in a while I'll just need like a break to like be a player and just kind of like, because I feel like every DM needs a break as a player, so that way they don't have like the stress of like having a whole game kind of like they're like the person that makes it run and everything. So yeah.
You know, I'm in 2 D&D groups at the moment. There's one that's run by my brother, who is frankly a fantastic DM. Like he kind of puts everyone else to shame. I need to turn his campaign into a graphic novel series. The world he's created, it's very homebrewy, all stuff. But the other one is the in-person group, the one that's been around since like the high school days. And we're trying a new thing currently where it's the same campaign, and it's not a series of one shots. It's one long campaign. But it's a set of rotating DMs.
Ooh, yeah. So that sounds cool.
The way we structured it is the first couple were the ones who had no experience DMing at all. Their names were Mike and Meg started us off. And we had no idea like what she was going to throw at us. Like whatever she threw at us, the future DMs would have to like build off of. So she was giving us a story hook basically. And then the next one, Mike, he took that story hook and followed through. It's like, okay, so Meg gave us sentient sludge that's like destroying towns and stuff. We have to hunt it down and figure out who created it. And Mike gave us the creator. And then it was my turn. And I'm just like, okay, here's a whole freaking organization of people who are like dedicated to, bringing order and like, a secret society of wizards, basically. And then there's like the evil terrorist group that wants to destroy them. And so there's your big major conflict that the future DMs can play with. And now we're on to the next one. And we're basically getting the most experienced DMs at the end. Yeah. So that way because they got the challenge of bringing everything together. But that's basically what we're doing. So it's like, it allows the newbie DMs to like, okay, you just had to do 2 sessions. And like, and now you can say you DM'd, and like, it doesn't like, you don't have the pressure of a whole campaign. We're just, it's all, and we each have a player character too. And so we have to find ways to like, okay, what's that player character doing? Like, cause they kind of had to fuck off to wherever. And it's just really fun and interesting because like, it's kind of a sample platter of like different DM styles, but at the same time, we're still telling one contiguous story and building. So like, I don't know, it might be worth considering. I feel like if this ends up working, like it should be something that other groups try out because it's less stressful for the forever DM. And it still tells a really interesting story.
Yeah, I know 5 GMs in a trench coat. They're all like forever GMs, and they rotate with like new seasons of like TTRPGs with different systems that they love and everything. So shout outs to those guys. They are incredible.
That's nuts to me. Like a DMing one campaign is bad enough, but like multiple different games at the same time, and they're different games too sometimes, and so different rules is just like. What the fuck? Like, oh my God, like, I would kill for that level of organization or lack of organization, improv ability, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let me pull up my questions here. So, what is your favorite character as a player that you've ever created?
So this was a home game. I created a changeling who was an aberrant mind sorcerer. His name was Daz, and his source of his like aberrant mind thing was not like an alien or anything. Was his twin brother who they kind of like fuse in the fetus and everything
type of thing.
Yeah, kind of thing and all that stuff. And that's where his power. A little bit. He kind of always like guilt trips him to like, let me take over for a little bit because you kind of like took over my life and everything. So thanks a lot, little brother. And I was like, but I love that character so much. It's fun to be able to play like this kind of like nice, sweet little dude and also play like an asshole at the same time at certain moments and everything. So it's just like, it's not like total whiplash. It's more kind of like, all right, I'm gonna flip the coin. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's that side. All right, we're gonna go for this part for a little bit.
Oh my God, that's nuts. Because I'm a very predictable player. Like I'm the one who always plays some variation of good. I like, the characters who do the right thing because it's the right thing to do type of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I need a task to complete. I can't just be sitting around in a tavern all day. Like, give me something to do, give me something to fight or a mystery to solve or something. And so basically I'm the straight while everyone else around me is playing these weird things. But I've been exploring that a little bit. The rotating DMs got a chaotic neutral warlock who is basically a con artist. So he's got like the actor feet, disguise self. That type of thing. He's a warlock who acts like a rogue, basically.
That's so cool. I love it.
Yeah. And he's an anti-hero in that, yes, he's stealing and lying and like doesn't really care who gets hurt, but he's only targeting bad people. Like he's going to target a rich asshole who can like replace whatever it is that he steals. And these rich assholes tend to be the ones who are like poisoning the well of their villages to like, to see what happens because they're too lazy to regulate them or whatever. So that type of thing. And that's about as evil or assholey as I can get it. Hard time with villains.
I haven't played a villain. I play villains for like being DM and anything, but playing like a villainous PC, I have not touched because I feel like that's something you gotta like check in with everybody.
You really do.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I got mixed feelings. I know this might make me sound super boring, but like,
no, it's all good.
I don't really like it when like the person playing next to me is being the evil person, or especially if it's a surprise evil person. Because it's just like so you were lying to not just my player, but to me, to my face this whole time. Okay, you like I don't know.
Yeah,
wise it can work, but like I don't know. At the table, I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know. I really got to build up to that type of thing.
Definitely.
There was probably one of the best characters that I made was this half-orc cleric named Yvelda. And this is when like they were bringing out the Twilight cleric. Okay. So I was playing with that. And I was so sick and tired of giving all my players the tragic backstory.
Yeah.
Like, like their parents died and they're hunting it down, or like, they were orphaned, stuff like she's like, no, she was like just taken in by this group of really nice, chaotic good drow who worship the chaotic good drow goddess, and so that's who she follows, and they just the world, and like she just likes fighting, so she left to go fight something, and it was like she's doing it for the love of the game, and it was my brother's first time DMing a whole campaign. And he did pretty well too. And he had this thing where he was giving each player an artifact, capital A. So like super powerful things. And she got the first one. And the artifacts were like, had their like, their own personalities. So like they were basically people in inanimate form. Okay. And the one that she got cursed with it was a lawful evil, like, weapon. Exactly. And that was so like I get this whole page that my brother gives me of like all the cool stuff that she had it turned into a hammer, that this hammer can do, but only if she played by its rules. I'm looking at something, you could do like triple the damage or whatever. And I'm just like, but Yev wouldn't do that. Like she got it good. Like she's working with this hammer because it's kind of fused to her hand. But also like it was an undead type of campaign. And of course,
cool.
Yeah. The hammer was like designed to go after Vecna or something like that. So this was a few years ago, so I'm forgetting a lot of the details are washed away. But yeah, we were united in our hatred of the undead.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So yeah, it was really fun. And so she had, Cleric, so she had all these spells. She was a team healer. That's basically what I gravitate to, is the person who heals everyone so everyone's alive to have fun. And so she was doing that, but most of the time she would just go right up in front of someone and just wham them over the head with this giant hammer. And it was so fun to be able to play a character who did that. One time she got possessed by the hammer for a session. That was interesting.
I bet.
And it was right after another player character had died. So she couldn't revivify it. Yeah, she couldn't revivify them because like the hammer wouldn't. The hammer doesn't care.
Oh,
like,
no.
You're not undead. You're just dead. Okay, let's move on.
Oh.
We brought him back. We brought him back eventually. I did have a raised dead in my arsenal, but yeah, that is like the only time I'll play an evil character where it's temporary, it's possessive, it's a possession thing. That was fun.
Yeah, definitely. I think like one of my other favorite characters I've been playing recently in a home game is Alfred Snowbottom. He is the world's greatest thief. He's the world's greatest thief, but he only steals things if he has consent of the people. Like, just like, yep. Like, we went to like one of the things of the store, and we went to thing. Everyone was like getting magic items and stuff, and I was like, it's just like someone was like, "I'm here to steal your greatest weapon." It was like a clothing store, and I was like, "All we have is like shears," and I was like, "I will steal that with your consent. How much money does that cost? 5 gold. I will give you 20 gold," because he doesn't have the concept of like worth of money and everything. And truthfully, I don't have any worth of concept of money in D&D because it's always like.
Neither do I. Neither do I. Like I have to like the DM I have to be like, so how much is like a gold coin worth in like American money? Like $5? Yeah.
And I just like, all right, here's 20 gold. And people were like, no, what are you doing? We need that money. I was like, this is my share of the money. I can do it. No. I was like, for me, it's like, I don't care. I don't care if it's like an electrum or like a copper. It's like, it's money in D&D is useless. Just, yeah.
It really is. I mean, like most of our stuff we end up finding in dungeons anyway. So it's like, why are we saving up for any, like, it's like I've got some money from in my brother's campaign. I'm playing a lawful good paladin.
Yeah,
and she's got the diplomat background. It's very homebrewy. So she's like, she's she's Oath of Redemption paladin. So she's always going to try to talk people out of their problems before drawing the sword. And she has used. Like she's got a crap ton of money, like gold and platinum pieces, because we started at level 10, and it's just like, and my brother was like, money's not going to mean much here, so like you can kind of have however much you want, and I'm just like, she's going to max out because she understands the value of bribes.
Yeah,
like she's lawful good, so she doesn't like to do it, but like if greasing a few palms is going to like make sure these two cities don't go to war with each other over something stupid, or like going to set a person who's stealing to feed their families, if that's going to set them on the right path, like she's going to do it. And she's done it a couple of times. Got like plus 17 to her persuasion. And there was one time where my brother, he literally had like the entire session was supposed to be a fight with this necromancer. And like, my paladin, not great, not hugely comfortable around undead. We have another paladin in the party who is literally worshiping the Raven Queen. So very much anti-undead. So like, we go to this person and like we meet her on the road basically. And Liam has is forthcoming with us being like, this is just supposed to be, you know, quick and we got a bunch of new weapons. Let's test them out type of thing. The person we're supposed to fight or deal with tomorrow can't even make it today. He was bringing in like real people to play some important NPCs. So that's how that was happening. And so we meet this necromancer who is like living in this house in the middle of nowhere. She's got a couple of undead people doing farm work or whatever. And we go up to her and is like, I am Lorena. You. And it's just like, it's very obvious that Liam's got her as like lawful neutral, maybe lawful evil. Because, and so basically if my paladin is just like, okay, I want to play this girl, but also like, did you have the consent of the people to like raise their bodies afterwards? And she's just like, no, they were dead. Why would I ask that? And she's just like, well, maybe, you know, my friend here is an oath of the Raven Queen Paladin, and you know, we don't like that. So like, what if instead you know, kind of started a life insurance thing where like you could go to people when they were still alive, purchase their rights to their body after death and like basically pay them for it. And then you wouldn't have a party with a couple of paladins and a cleric and a rogue, you know, knocking on your door trying to fight you type of thing. And we set the bar so high of my persuasion. And at the end of that, not only had I managed to avoid combat, we were all frothing at the mouth to do. And I got her to give up like the soul, the spell that like contains people, the soul cage spell. Which she had also been using very much without the soul's permission. And I'm just like, no, that's slavery. You can't do that. And again, and to bribe her a little bit, but you know what? Bribing someone to not enslave souls for all eternity. Yeah, she'll do that.
Yeah, totally.
So we walk away like just 20 minutes into this session that was supposed to be a 2-hour combat.
My God.
I'm just like, I'm sorry, guys. But this is what Urkali would do. And all of the other players were like, yeah, she would. I mean, she rolled like a cooked 30, 35.
Oh my God.
That was how high the bar set that my brother did, but with like a plus 17 persuasion, plus the channel divinity, oath of redemption, that adds another 5, plus a pretty high roll on the dice. I'm just like, she's gonna do whatever I tell her. And now she's like one of our allies. Like she's got her whole, you know, necromancer tower like 10 miles away from our bastion.
Hey,
and it's like, and like we've like recruited her. We're teaching like the next generation of adventurers, and we've recruited her to like help us out with this trading exercise. Like, hey, can you like throw some undead at our trainees so like they know how to fight them in the wild? And she's like, yeah, sure, it's fun.
Oh my God.
And we did end up having the combat, but it was like an AU where it's like, okay, this has no bearing on the story, but Liam was like, I've got literally nothing else planned for you guys today. So we're going to go into an alternate reality where Chris failed to check and do it. But I'm just like, it was just so funny because we all wanted to fight her. And I had to be that bitch to be like, hold on, let's put our swords away and try to talk this out. And it actually works.
It's all good. It's all good.
Oh my God. What is, so I went onto your website because, you know, I had to be at least somewhat prepared. I'm not like you. I can't improvise these things.
It's all good.
I noticed that you've got a book out. Is that based on your D&D campaign or is it like a separate thing?
So The Stolen is, it was a book that was planned out with one of my friends from high school because we were both Percy Jackson fans. We really liked it. And and we wanted to take, I have, it's really good. I enjoy it. And I was like, all right, let's try to take this a little bit more serious, a little bit and all that stuff and everything. So we had fun with that. It's basically, you have the daughter, demigod daughter of Hecate, who's like helping out a group of other demigods, trying to get one of their friends who got kidnapped by Hecate as they were trying to like kidnap her because they don't have a great relationship and stuff. And they're just kind of like going on a crossroad journey of like around the country and all that stuff. It was a lot of fun. And I have like transcribed some of the Fighter Saga stuff into like little short stories into like my Wattpad, but I haven't touched Wattpad in a while.
Sorry, I just had a vivid flashback to my middle school days with Wattpad.
Yep.
that and live journal.
Yep. So I was just kind of like, yeah. And I was just kind of like trying to figure out and all that stuff because I really do enjoy transcribing like the Fighter Sagas to short stories, and it'd be kind of cool to like put that into like a short story and an anthology or something or something like that. It'd be interesting. But I would kind of just like, I also just want to like tell like other side stories that involve like D&D mechanics into it and all that stuff. Just kind of say like, that's the world works, because I have read something like the Forgotten Realms book, like the Drizzt books from like,
oh yeah.
And I read the first one.
I was huge into that when we were kids.
Yeah, I read the first one. I was like, yeah, this is really cool. This is really cool. Not a fan of like the whole Brow Society. Holy shit.
Yeah, like there are definitely ways to craft an unjust society for people like Drizzt to rebel against without making every single person with dark skin evil.
That's a whole issue with like Wizards of the Coast and like having any fantasy race being an evil race. And I'm just like, that's lazy writing. No, stop it.
It really is. Like, and I say this someone was like, like world building is one of my favorite parts of writing. And it helped. Like when I went to college, I was convinced that I was going to get a degree in creative writing. And then I saw the list of classes required for a creative writing degree at Hamline University. And like, there were so many that if you didn't get in your first semester, you basically had to stay a whole extra year. It was such a laundry list. So I'm just like, fuck that. So I ended up double majoring in social justice with a concentration in creative writing and history, which really surprised me because in high school I hated history class. Yeah. And then, you know, you go to college and you have a professor who actually kind of knows what they're talking about and gives you an angle and all that stuff. And it's just like, this is why we study history. All right. Yep. And like, the more you know about history and just the two together, like the more you study history and like different societies and biographies and the worlds and cultures that they lived in, the more you realize just how complicated it is. And you can have an evil society, quote unquote. I'm sure like there are plenty of people who would say that American society is very evil. It is patriarchal and sexist. It's racist. It's ableist. It's classist. It's got all of these things. It's imperialist. It's sliding down that slippery. So like there's a whole thing. Like we really are becoming the Star Wars evil empire, but like you can't say that thus every single American citizen is evil. Like no, like we've got our fair share of racists and sexists and all that stuff, but like there are a lot of really good people who are fighting against it. There are a lot of people who are just trying to live their lives. Like it's so much more complicated than that. And that's what, like, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Fire Nation. It is like the big bad guy of the entire series. You know, all 3 seasons, almost every single Fire Nation firebender that we come across is evil. But even as early as season 1, like there's that priest guy who helps them get in contact Avatar Roku. There's John the deserter. Zuko himself is like way more complicated, even though he's the first antagonist we come across in this children's show. It's like, and then we get to season 3 when we actually see we be in the Fire Nation, and it's like, oh, these are just people. They've been lied to, and but like they're still people, and so it's like, so that's what I love, and the whole every person in this race is evil except for this, you know, handful of people. It's just like, no, that's not how that works. Even in a fantasy world, it's racist, it's lazy. Can we I really am glad when sorry. I really was glad that Wizards of the Coast, they did update that. I think it was like when they brought out 5e, talking about how, okay, we're not doing the most, if not all, drow are evil thing anymore. Like we're not all orcs or goblins are evil either. It's like I was really relieved to hear that because we've been playing that way either too. So I was like, glad to see it official.
Yeah, and like there are some media out there that has like the evil race thing, and I'm just like Frieren Journey's End, which I love to bits. I love that anime, but having all the devils being evil, I'm just like, no, you're so close to perfection, and just like it's also with Baldur's Gate 3 of like I love the game, it is so good, but we don't need the evil races going. I don't care if it's lore accurate. I want more like flavors of the drows. I want more flavors of like the goblins, and everything. I don't want like just them to be like evil and everything. Like, yeah, we did it with Minthara. You can recruit, and you realize when you like, she's like, I'm evil. I'm a boss ass bitch, and you're just like, yes, step on me. Sorry. But when you get to know her, and when she's like, yeah, a lot of the stuff I kind of did was kind of fucked up, and like, I'm so sorry about that. I was like, yes, come on. Sorry.
Yeah, I have not played Baldur's Gate 3, so I can't comment on that. But my brother and I, we have played the latest Diablo 4, which the Diablo games, they tend to be pretty like, angels versus demons, good versus evil type thing. But even in some of the earlier games, you got, fallen angels. You've got the bureaucracy of heaven who is being just like, why do we have to help humans again? Like they're sinful and bloody creatures. And Diablo 4 really took that to the next level, where it's like, you're not even going against Diablo. You're going against his daughter, Lilith. Who's like, the mother of sin, and like, and part of the thing is like she, in the early lore, she banged this angel who's quote unquote helping us, and and birthed the first human, and because of that, the angel was cast out of heaven, because he did the snoo with the demon, and which, I mean, I feel like there are better reasons to knock that guy out of heaven, but whatever. And so like he's trying to come back, he's doing everything in his power to go back home, get back to heaven, which is understandable, but like he kills his kid to try to do it, which is like, and like the guy wasn't like fighting him or anything. He was just like, yeah, it's not going to happen, Dad. Like, you're never going to go back. I see the future. I know you're fucked. And he killed him. And it was like, yeah. So it's like, like we get this, fallen angel who's, doing these horrible things. And then you also have, Lilith. We don't see the fight itself, but we do see her finding her son's body. And even though she is like the evil, this wretched, horrible person that we have to kill because she is causing so many problems. Like the scene that they wrote, she doesn't cry or weep or anything, but she is so very sad and grieving as she's caring for her son's body. And then she like, picks up the staff that he was using and breaks it and uncovers the key to hell. And like, the grief turns to rage. And it's very quiet and icy, but it's just like, okay, like we still got to kill this bitch. But like, I feel bad for her now because like, the first thing she says when she sees the body is like, I don't know if you would have stood by me when I take over this planet, but I would have saved you a place. And it's just like, and we get in that whole game, like we see all these side quests. We see like, the church is very obviously based off of Christianity. And you see like a lot of crappy imperialist stuff that it's doing, but we also see a lot of the that it's doing. There's a nun who's like going against this demon who keeps possessing her friends and family, and she's just like, get out of my friend. Like you're I am a sister of our Lord of Light. Get out. It's just like that girl in charge. Come on. So I totally do. I'm not much of a video game girl, but I totally agree with you where it's just like, when a world is a lot more complicated and layered like that, especially as humans, because humans are complicated and history is complicated and society is weird and has a lot of weird rules.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because like with my world of Pact of the Father, which is kind of like the same universe of Fighter Saga, I have like the devils aren't really like they're not bad people. They were born out of people's emotions. They were born out of them, and just like they don't want to like feed on the souls. They're just kind of like, all right, I'm just here to help you regulate this emotion and everything. And then like all the gods and the angels kind of like will take credit, like we did that, and everyone's just like, what the fuck?
The way that my brother, because in his campaign, we recently got sent to hell, like a whole thing. And like the way that my brother is having the devils of Asmodeus's reign is like they are created from the spirits of the people who did horrible things that got sent to hell in the first place. But like they're only turned into devils when they realize what they did was wrong and why. So it's basically the way that my brother has created hell is like it's very, very intensive therapy.
Oh yeah.
It's fire and brimstone. And like, yeah, there are some levels of hell where it's just like, okay, these are like the absolute worst of the worst, like these guys.
Yeah.
But like a lot of them are also just like, you need to understand what you did was wrong and why and what led you to do that. And then once they do that, then they become devils and then they turn around and help others, which is a really interesting take on it. And like we had this whole thing where like we went face to face with Asmodeus, the king of hell. The way my brother did it was like hell is designed for punishment and restorative justice and like law and order type of thing. And we're basically getting his genuine help to save our planet because the gods are going to wipe all the living things from the planet to save us from this other horrible thing that we still don't understand because it's a cognito hazard. And the more you learn about it, the more dangerous it is.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was really interesting how it's like, you have this whole setup where we are like two paladins, a cleric of a chaotic good deity. And it's like, and it turns out like, no, this guy does genuinely want to help you. It's to serve his own ends, but he does genuinely want to help you. And he's also working with the chaotic good deity that the cleric is. So it was like it was a whole thing. And it was really, it kind of, mind fucked my paladin a little bit too, because she worships two gods that I created for this campaign. Like I said, very homebrewed. So it's all about, balance. It's very Buddhist because I'm a Buddhist. And it's like, everything needs balance. You got to balance civilization with the wild. You got to, balance, war with healing and, all this stuff. And you also have to balance good versus evil. And every person has that. So she's just like, God damn. Okay. I gotta think about this for a minute. Hold on. Maybe I've been thinking about devils and evil and all that stuff a little too harshly, a little bit. Like you're still evil, but like necessary. So that's really fun to do that at level 18.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so much fun.
I know, right? And we're all of us, because we got condemned in a heavenly court. After we die, we do owe Asmodeus time. Especially since he is helping us out with this thing. But like, we've all made deals where it's just like, mine's like, I want to be either help heal people or punish people who are actually evil and not just a chaotic entity that the lawful gods don't like. Because we've lost a beloved NPC who is a chaos gremlin to the so-called good, lawful deities, and because they just didn't like that he was so chaotic and called him irredeemable, which my Oath of Redemption paladin did not like. And like, we've got like, so everyone kind of gave their like, terms and conditions. And so it's just like, okay, so after we die, we're going to spend like, a century or two in hell helping out.
Yeah.
Okay, there are worse fates. Let's go.
Oh, definitely.
So I got some Patreon questions for you.
Alrighty.
What inspired your Fighter Saga and Pact of the Father series? Was it an in real life D&D campaign that never finished, or was it just something from your noggin?
It was just something from my noggin that was just like, all right, I want to tell like these sad D&D stories because I was inspired like Mars Crow, Sarah is CaFae, and like all these other like early ages of TikTok for D&D content creating and everything. And then like Patroness of Lore, she has an OC that she created called Darcy, and that kind of like gave a structure. I was like, okay, cool. What about the fighter from like one of the previous videos that really took off and everything? Was like, well, they were like partners and everything and all that stuff, and we reached out to each other and we collaborated with so many things. And I've said multiple times, there is no fighter saga without Darcy, because that gave it the structure. So yeah, go check out Patroness of Lore on YouTube and TikTok. Plug. And all that stuff and everything. And with Pact of the Father, Fighter Saga takes a lot of energy to do, because sometimes it was just kind of like, it is a little bit more of a serious story at times and everything. And we're getting at like the end of like the main story and everything. So I kind of wanted a story that could be serious, but that was primarily just kind of like a lighthearted, goofy thing. And that came all about with like doing a skit of just like, oh, what about this random skit of like having a warlock whose patron is his father? And everyone was like, oh, you got to make a full series about this. You got to make a full series. And I was like, all right, I'll do it.
Wish is my command. Like, how do you think CaFae Latte got started?
Yeah, I was like, all right, yeah. And that definitely gave me like a second motivation of like, oh, this is so cool. This is just really cool. Cause I was just like, cause you just like, everyone is just kind of like in the Fire Saga, there are a little bit of deviations of like, of what their classes should be and everything. And for Pact of the Father, it's very much, they are aware of their class and they're aware of like the rules of like D&D and how it affects their world and stuff. And so they're just kind of like, okay, fuck it, we're gonna like go with it. Because Kala, she's the chaotic gremlin. She's like she's a druid, but yet she acts like a rogue. She's all about the money. She's all about like getting that cash. She's all about stealing things. She's just that, but yet she's a druid. So I just thought that was like really, really cool to do and stuff. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's funny that like one of your big series happened from a collaboration, because like I've done a couple of collabs with like the creative side of things, and I don't like it. And I'm very protective and particular about like my stories. I like collaborating outside of stories, hence this whole setup, you know, the podcast, the CaFae Convo. But like, I don't know, because I've done like I did a collab with CaFae Latte with a guy who dresses and goes as Satan. And that was fun, but like, because he has his whole rules of how hell works and I have my whole rules of how hell works, it caused a lot of confusion. So like, it's just like, you know what? It was fun, but story-wise, I don't think I want to do something like this again. And that's not even, that's without bringing in like the different types of story writing. Because like I said, I'm a big planner. I worked out everything. Like you can actually see in some of my skits, like I'm reading the skit as I'm saying the line. Because that's how deeply I plan it. And then you got others like JC of Hell's Bells fame, who just improvises the whole skit apparently. And I'm just like, which?
I'm a little bit of both. When it comes to important elements, I will plan things out to be kind of like, all right, here's like point A and point B. These are like the two central plots that we have to get to. How we get there? Let's throw spices in the kitchen and let's see what we come up with.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I don't know. I'm very much a planner. I don't mind changing the plan. But it's like, especially when I'm writing a book, but like, it's gotta, I need the parachute. I need, I need a very, like with writing books, I need a very detailed outline. And with doing this, I need a full script. It's just, no, I can't go without that. It's insane to me that some people can.
That's all good. I usually start out with characters first, and that's kind of like I go with the journey with them of like, all right, we're gonna put all these characters in a box in here, and then let's see what happens. Shake it, and then just kind of like, ooh, this is interesting. All right, let's try to detangle everything.
Yep. I usually start with some combination of characters and world. Because you can't have a society without people and you can't have people without a society. So they tend to be like created at the same time for me. And then I'll have a plot, and then I'll pull a plot from that, because once you have the 2 or more characters, now you have conflict. So it's like, okay, what do they want? What are they trying to get? And it's like, is there an impression in this society? There almost always is, that they're going against. And so that's just, And sometimes the characters do change the plan quite a bit. Like I'll be halfway through writing a scene that I've meticulously planned out, and then I'll realize, no, this character would not do that. Or that character would not survive this type of thing. Like they need to die here or something like that. So it's like, and that can totally make me rewrite the back half of an outline. But it's still, there's still a plan.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh God, don't make me stare at a blank, empty Word document. I can't do it. So you're not just dice, you are dice and autism. Do you personally find D&D to assist, support, help you with your neurodivergence? If so, how?
Oh, most definitely. I feel like a lot of tabletop RPGs are very helpful when it comes to like any form of neurodivergence, because it gives you structure and kind of like ways of like being able to express some of those things into like game mechanics that is understandable to like other people and like what's going on and stuff. And just like being able to kind of like really tell a story and express oneself into a character. And like the DM was like, yeah, totally. Let's help try to express the stuff that's in your head with your neurodivergent stuff and into like the pen and paper with the dicey rolls stuff and everything. I think I am in the camp that we should definitely start using it as a tool for neurodivergence, especially with like autism and stuff, just be able to like help express, because it's just so good. I know there's like the big joke of like D&D is kind of therapy, and it kind of is when you have like the right people who are trained for like stuff. If you're trying to like do a whole therapy session for your home group or like an AP or anything, no. That's a lot of trauma and damage for your friends and people who are not like prepared for that. No. If there was a therapist who was just like, hey, yo, I'm also DM and everything. You want to like try to like put this in a format of like D&D to like able to express it in a way that you're dealing with, and I'd be like, yes.
So such a group does exist. I am working with them. It's a company called Divergent Realms. And it is a pay to play thing where it's like, they've got a whole lineup of game masters who are specifically trained by a licensed counselor who specializes in ADHD, autism, trauma, OCD, all that stuff. And so all the GMs are trained in that. And it's like, it's designed by and for neurodivergent people. So if you like decide, I want to play Dungeons and Dragons and I want to focus on, this specific social skill, or I want to play a different TTRPG. And I just want a place where I don't have to mask, that type of thing. So it's not like intensive therapy per se, but it is designed with that in mind. I don't have the promo code now because we're filming this August 22nd, but by the time this episode airs, I will actually have a promo code for people who are interested in joining, which I will put in the description of this video.
Hells yeah.
But yeah, in fact, I learned about it because I'm not, to my knowledge, I am neurotypical. But the two people that I hire the most often to help me out with my CaFae Latte stuff, or who does the Discord and some Patreon stuff, as well as video editor Nick, are both neurodivergent in different ways. And they were recruited by Divergent Realms.
Cool.
I think it was like a friend of Nick's or something like that who learned about it. And they both took up part-time jobs as GMs. The GMs are paid and they're paid very fairly.
Oh, good.
And and then they both came to me as Divergent Realms was getting ready to launch because it's a very new thing. And they're like, hey, Chris, I know you don't do sponsorships usually, but, and they told me about it. And I'm just like, okay, they treat you two well as their employees. They like pay you fairly, or like this. And because I have like a ton of fans who are both into tabletop RPGs and also are neurodivergent, that it's a very overlapping Venn diagram. It's almost a circle. I was like, you know what? yeah, okay, all right. I'll get in touch with them and we'll hash out terms and videos. They're not recorded, but they are scripted.
Nice.
Videos that help promote them, and of course, I do get paid for every time the promo code is used, type of deal. So yeah, and they've got we actually got a CaFae Latte RPG available there. It's I hesitate to call it a RPG. It's basically a CaFae Latte skin on D&D.
Supplement.
Yeah, pretty much. And but that's, we've tested it out with some of our with volunteers pulled from my Patreon, and Core was the one who spearheaded that. I did not have any time for that. You can see the stack of Heart of Iron books that I've been shipping out like mad. There's so many of them. Like the entire month has just been shipping out Kickstarter orders, and it looks like the next 2 months are going to be doing the same thing, which is fine. Is what I signed up for, but that does not give a whole lot of time for creating an RPG. So,
definitely.
Yeah, I was like, Fiend, you do it. You're smart, and you've been with me pretty much since I started CaFae Latte. Yeah, I'll pay you the extra money. Do the thing, and they did the thing, and people are like, so I'll have you link in the description. But you should check it out, Dice. I think that with your skills, like if you want to be a player or if you want to be a GM, I think they'd be tripping themselves over you.
Yeah. What are they called again?
Divergent Realms.
Okay. Divergent Realms. Okay. All right. I got that in my notes here. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah.
You're okay. And I feel really glad about taking that sponsorship. I don't know how you feel as a content creator about sponsorships, but especially with the latest scandals coming out, I'm just like,
okay. Yep. Okay. So my general rule of thumb when it comes to sponsorships of just like doing like a quick search and vibe check with the company and stuff on where they stand on like a few things is like, make sure like they're run by good people. And they don't use generative AI. That's also a big ick.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like I've had some like emails or just like that search in TTRPG
from
stuff like
people who are like, we have a generative AI product. Please help us sell it. Like, no.
I politely say no, thank you, but sometimes I just want to like take my phone, just like lift it in the air, drop kick it, and send it to outer space.
Oh my God. I don't even respond. I just like, no.
Yeah, but it's very much, I try and like look for companies that I would want to know that I know that they have passed the vibe check to me and other people who have like worked with them and stuff, and just be kind of like throw like an email like, hey, here's like my media kit and everything. Want to work out a little bit? Something? Ooh, please?
Yeah, I did a couple of like products in TikToks, like a pair of leggings with pockets. There was a flashlight. There was a software that's like text to speech type of thing. And
sick.
Most of them are good, but like, the speech to text one especially, I think they were called Peach. They just wanted to get their hands in every aspect of the creative process. And like to control the whole script, basically, which I'm just like, get your paws off. This is my story. And even the ones that were like a lot looser about it, they were just like, we just need you to say the product name, to show it in a good light, and to give the code. Like the leggings and the flashlight were very just tell us, just show us the video when you've created it. We'll give it our stamp of approval if it meets all the requirements. But even with those, it felt like, I was basically making a commercial. And like I was still able to make them entertaining. Like I got a lot of comments from people saying, I didn't even realize this was an ad until like 3/4 of the way through. Well done. Or I was like, I wish all commercials were like this because it was actually kind of engaging and fun. But even so, I'm just like, this is not what I want to do. This is not the type of content I want to create. I want to break hearts. I want to have someone be kidnapped by dragon witch hunter things.
I feel that. I definitely feel that.
Yeah, no. So then, like, I get you. So I could do more sponsorships as like commercial breaks, so to speak. But I'm just like, it made the creative process, which is like the best process. I have my whole career based on it because I love it so much. It made the creative process a chore.
It did, And
I'm just like, no. This is like when I tried doing ghostwriting in college. It almost killed my joy of writing for me. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I think they're just very like, I think with like the whole myth of people are losing attention spans like on TikTok and everything. It's like, there's a little bit of like truth in that, but it's just more of like, it's just poo-poo content. It's just like,
audience for your shitty content.
Yeah, you're treating the audience like babies here, and like and like they're treating it as like a science. They're trying to optimize it to like the best SEO keywords and just like eye-catching thing. And I'm just like, no. Look at me. We are human beings. You got to engage with them in a personal level to connect with them. That's how you do it. That is how you do it. I've had to talk with some people and just be like, okay, look, I understand where you're coming from, but if you want it to be engaging, you will want it to be successful and want people to be like curious. You got to let me know how, you got to let me do my stuff because I know how to like engage with the people. Just let me do the Eldrick oogly boogly thing.
Exactly. And I feel like on the other hand, we're all kind of slaves to an algorithm.
A little bit, yeah.
TikTok, a little, like I understand that, but at the same time, like so many people and content creators and companies are trying to please a series of numbers and equations without and forget about the people behind them, basically.
Yeah, it is very much like the business people are like saying like, oh, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. We write the checks. If you just spend all this time trying to please an algorithm and just focusing on the numbers and not the people behind them, you're going to end up like BuzzFeed. Like you'll have a nice little spike and then you're going to crash and burn and become a meme and not the good kind. Yep. I have one rule when it comes to creating anything, when you're doing anything for like art or entertainment and anything. If you are in it only for the money, get out. Get out.
And even before being in content creation, I was just a nerd who reads books and writes books. Like you can always tell when someone is creating something just for the money. Like it's not really something you can put your finger on. But you can tell there's a vibe there. And I get that we all have bills to pay, but you can still create something that you're passionate about, that you care about, and still make bank. It takes time. It 8 years, but it still, you can still do it. And it's just, if you want something soulless that's just for a cash grab, go with generative AI because nobody cares about that, and it's going to be forgotten in a week. So
and it's like it's kind of like from like it's like one extreme from the other and everything. You got to find like the middle ground because I've seen videos of like that one famous director, the guy who did Eraserhead and everything. He was like in one of his movies, and like I think a producer was like, I think the scene is going a little bit too long, and he kind of like snapped at her. And people are like, oh yeah, these producers should not have like the say of like get in the way of critics. I'm like, okay, let's dial that back a little bit. Sometimes we need a little bit of like people outside to be kind of like, hey, we're going a little bit of a direction here, or just like it's going a little bit too long. Yeah. Let's not condemn that one person who's just trying to do her job and help out, make a great product here.
Yeah, exactly. No. Like I've gotten into not real fights, but I've gotten into disagreements with content editors before on my books and work. But it's like you need the cold, objective, emotionally distant third pair of eyes, basically. That's what beta readers and sensitivity readers and editors are for. Because the creator is often too close to the project. Even when we take a break from it, like, like my first novel, Citadel, came out 2 years ago now. And there are a couple of things that I would change about it, but it's still my baby. I think you answered this one, but I do want to ask the full question just in case. Okay. If you were part of a current group, did you specifically search for a neurodivergent friendly group for tabletop RPGs? And if so, was this difficult?
Okay. I don't think I did answer this. Okay. So when I first started out and everything, my first username was like Dyson Asperger's, because I was just like, okay, because like I was labeled with Asperger's and everything. And then I found out that Hans Asperger's is like not a good human being. And then I was like,
let's not have the Nazi name, shall we?
I was like, oh shit. I was like, so I changed all my username to Dyson Autism, which is a better username. It rolls off the tongue so much better.
It really does. Like, I didn't want to say anything because it's not my diagnosis, but you know.
Yeah. But it was just like when I kind of like hoisted that flag and just being like, oh, I'm an autistic person and likes nerdy D&D stuff and everything. Everyone was just like, oh, okay, we can like unmask here and just kind of like be ourselves and a little bit goofy and everything. It's like, and I always cultivated that. I always like made sure to like if you're ever like in my streams or like in my server and you want to info dump on something and just be kind of like talk about your favorite thing, do it. The world will, even though outside world is like, you got to mask up and don't show any of that to the regular people. Otherwise you might scare them. But when over in here, take that shit off, because that is a barbed wired pinwheel mask that hurts as a motherfucker.
Yeah, no, I'm always, as a neurotypical, I'm always so, like, I always feel so good. It's such a compliment when people drop their masks around me. Yeah. Because it means that I'm the safe space. Like, I've got quite a few people in my fan base and in my Patreon only Discord who are DID. Yeah. And, I had a core/fiend who runs the Discord was telling me, like, they sent me a DM at some point fairly early on. This was like CaFae Latte was only a few months old, but you know, the growth was exponential. And they were saying like, hey, so just want to let you know that we got some DID people in, you know, the Discord, and they're wondering if, you know, these systems are wondering if they can have, I forget the exact, like a personality, a thing based off of one of my characters, specifically Cyrus. And I'm just like, well, I don't understand how any of that works, but like, as long as they're not hurting anyone, they're not like causing pain or problems in the group. Yeah, they can do whatever they want. Like, it seems like, I don't want to say it seems like cosplay, but more extreme, but like, there are people in the DID system that has like alters who are like based on fictional characters and stuff. It's a kind of a common thing. Exactly. So I'm just like, yeah, sure. Like, you don't really need my permission for that, but like, yeah, absolutely, go for it. And Fiend was so grateful because they were just like, you know, like, thank you so much. So many people are so weird about this. And I'm just like, look, I don't get it, but I'm not going to police it. Like, I just want everyone to be safe and chill and happy in my thing. And it was just, and that just opened the floodgates. So now I have to do a DID character. It probably won't be in CaFae Latte. Apparently in my Blackwing novella series, I accidentally coded one of the characters, Data, as DID with her whole demigod thing with the beast in her head that she has to keep under control. And I got a couple of people who reached out, were just like, hey, so I'm sure this was a mistake, but you kind of coded her like this. And he didn't really code her very well, because it's kind of like the Hulk type of deal. Just wanted to let you know, still love the story. And I'm just like, well, now I got to do all my research because she's coming back in volume 3, and now I got to do this on purpose. Let's go.
Oh yeah, I felt the same way when it came to like Odoleth and Belvy, because Odoleth, she's a dragon, but she preferred like her human form than her dragon form. And then people in the trans community was like, hey, this is kind of like a transcoded like thing, and I was like, oh
yes, that was totally on purpose. I'm very smart.
I was like, I did not know that. That's kind of cool. So then I like did my research and everything. I was like diving in. I was like, all right, now I have like I got like a chamber in like in the gun. I'm like, all right, I want to make like a cool like great trans character just like put into like the Fighter Saga or Pack the Father universe and everything, because I'm like, I want to represent my homies.
Exactly. Yeah, no, and it's always so fun. We're like, because like we are paid to create and to create these worlds and these characters, and we're very good at it.
Yeah.
But like, it is always really fun when the fans say something or give us an idea, and we're just like, well, now we have to do it that way because I didn't think of that, and that's absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much. Like even the CaFae Latte, he originally called it Fae Latte.
Yeah.
It wasn't until episode 3 someone in the comments said, you know, you should call it CaFae Latte.
Yeah.
F-A-E, and I'm just like, I should call it that. Oh my God.
Yeah, definitely. And I got a storyline planned out for like Pack the Father, where somebody in the comments, their username is Dr. Dice. We were like streaming it and everything. We were like talking about homebrew classes for like warlocks, and they're talking about what about like a warlock that broke their pack, kind of like an oathbreaker kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that could be the antithesis to Villa, because he's all about like his like pack with his dad and everything. How it's like nice,
foiled, narrative foiled,
and so I'm just, and it's just like, and this one that like broke the pack, probably like someone who had like a kind of like a rough like end of the deal, or like kind of like a bad experience with their patron. So I'm just like, and now he's going around the world forcibly breaking other warlocks' pack with their patrons, and I'm just like, I gotta write. I'm in the middle of like I'm finishing up a arc right now, which involves Kane and Morgana, which I'm just gotta finish up recording that episode, and then I'm gonna like record a bunch of like side off things for palate cleanser for comedy and stuff, and then probably the next one will probably be the pack breaker one, because I'm like, that's so good. That's so good.
I love the internet. That's phenomenal.
It is like wild magic. It's insane.
The current warlock that I'm playing, I got the idea straight from a Tumblr post.
Hey.
I'm responsible for so much of my career and life at this point, even though I'm not on it. But apparently, he's got it's a Fae Pact, but it's specifically the Tooth Fairy.
Okay.
So whenever he like wins a fight, defeats a monster, kills a bad guy or whatever, he collects their teeth, and then that's how he levels up. He puts the teeth under his pillow, and he wakes up like, oh, I now know this cantrip. I now know this incantation. But yeah, no, the broken pact warlock. That sounds so cool. I got to feed that to my dad and brother. See if we can do that in one of our campaigns coming up. That is phenomenal. How did you begin your D&D journey?
So I started my tabletop role-playing journey with Pathfinder, first edition, in college, and I was playing with a couple of my friends. And I was like, hey, this is kind of like a fun game of improv. I really like it and everything. And then I took a break because like my mental health in my first run of college was.
Everyone. I literally got diagnosed with depression in college. Okay. That it happens to everyone. Anxiety and depression. So that was a twofer.
Yeah. And then one of my friends from high school, he was like, hey, I'm going to do like a D&D thing. You want to play? And I was like, I've never played D&D, but yeah. And I played it. We played a campaign and I was like, this is cool. And then the pandemic happened and I was just like, all right, this is sad. And I was just when I was starting to get more into D&D stuff. And I was like, it was watching stuff like Critical Role that helped out. And also seeing the YouTube compilations of D&D TikTokers on there. And I was like seeing all these cool people. And I was like, I could do that. Yeah. I could do that. Let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. And then it just started from there. And then like I got my first shout out from like a nice sizable creator and everything. I can't remember his name, but he had like one series where his welcome to the wacky world of like something merchant place where it sells like wacky magical items and stuff. And like he shouted me out when I was like 100 followers and everything with a bunch of all these other creators. And it just kept snowballing there. And I was just like,
I'm here for the ride, and the ride's going very fast, but I'm also kind of enjoying it.
I was like, okay, this is happening. This is happening. And it really felt like I finally found an audience for like my stories. Cause I always try to find an audience just to like tell my stories and everything. And it's just like, here you go. And there are a lot of people who like it. And I'm like, okay.
That is so like, that is definitely one of the hardest things, like, you know, writing a story in whatever format that is, but like that's hard enough, but then trying to find people who like connect with it. And it's both easier and harder than people make it out to be, in my experience, because like for some people, like it is very hard trying to sell yourself, basically. In your story. But at the same time, like if you're into it, there's almost certainly someone else who's into it. That's why we say write what you want to read, because I guarantee you there are multiple other people who want to read the same thing.
Yep. And that's what I tell other people who want to be content creators or just like give advice for like writing anything. If you have a story, tell it, because there will always be that one person in the audience who will be like, I love this shit. And you just like keep that connection, because that's going to keep you going. Yep.
A lot of it is just like a matter of the skill of the execution, basically. Because like, or even the vibe of the execution. Like, I love it when Stephen King's books turn into movies. But I hate his writing style. I can't read any of his books. I've tried.
I've tried as well. It was just like, what the hell is this Coke-driven madness?
And it broke my mom's heart, because she has like every single one of his books. She's a huge Stephen King fan. She tried to get me into it so many times, and it just wasn't working for me. But I love the movies. Like, the movies are great and the concepts are great. It's just a matter of execution. Same with N.K. Jemisin. I love total respect. Love her concepts. I love that she's especially like, a Black woman writer, and she like has all those themes in her story. And I just can't read them. I have tried, because the writing style just doesn't mesh with me.
Yeah. There are several authors out there who I'm just like, I like your concept and everything. I just wish your style of writing was ever cool. And I think, because I got introduced like Terry Pratchett with like some of like his Discworld stuff, with like the Hawkfather special, and like with like Good Omens and everything. And I was like, oh, those are really cool and everything. This guy seems like pretty cool. And also the fact that he wrote death as not like this maniacal dude, but just kind of like this guy who's just like, well, I'm here. You want to talk about it and shit? That's like hells yeah. And I'm like, I'll probably give like this pretty good ride, because I think one of my favorite series I've ever read was Odd Thomas. I love that series to bits. If you don't know, it's basically a guy who can see ghosts and everything. But the one thing about the ghosts is that they can't talk. They can't talk, so they can't really say like, this is how I died and everything.
Learn ASL.
Yeah. Well, it was that. And it was like this fun murder mystery kind of like thing and all that stuff. But he was just also just like a guy who was just like, yeah, really, really cool. And he's written by Dean Koontz. So yeah, he's a good. And like when the movie came out of it, I was pretty hyped. Because I was like, yeah. And I saw it and I was like,
Yeah, different creative vision. And I mean, frankly, every book to movie, like the book is always going to be better. I think I can only think of 2 examples where the movie was better than the book. And that is How to Train Your Dragon and The Help. That's I used to be able to say Game of Thrones is at least on par with the book. now I can't.
Yep, that's fair.
They really fumbled that landing, but that does kind of suck. But I mean, and that's totally fine. It actually helps me fend off imposter syndrome as an author, because like I've got people like fans of my online content who are just like, hey, I tried to read Citadel, I tried to read The Witcher Trades with Death, and I was like 3 stars, like, and I'm just like, that's totally fine.
Yeah, totally.
You like, you're paid. Frankly, I get more money from the online content than from the books. So I haven't received any royalties from any books because I'm still trying to make up the down payment basically that the publishers gave me.
Okay.
And that's what I mean. Art is subjective. Like, that's just a fact. Not every single person's gonna like it. So, just don't send me death threats or ask for a request for feet pics, and we'll be fine.
Just this is like, it's like, art is very subjective, and it's like there's also like, I've seen some people say, oh, this is cringe and everything, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna take this word, crush it into oblivion, and just throw it in a volcano, because I feel like we can never use cringe as a word of criticism.
Overused. People basically just use it to be like, it's just something that I don't like, and I don't respect the people who like it, and it's just like, fuck you, go all the way off. Like, real cringe for me is something that physically makes you cringe a little bit, and like, but at the same time, you can still respect. I think back to, like, everyone's saying how the Pixar movie Red was, oh my gosh, all these girls are so cringe. And also, I was like, have you met preteen girls?
Exactly.
We all like this.
I love Red so much. I loved it so much. It had so much personality and ooze. It was so cool. It was so cool. And I was just like, I will defend that movie to death. I will be that person on the tugging of the rope, just be like, back off, fiends, back off.
I actually have not seen it yet. I'm behind on so much of my stuff, but I saw all the discourse around it. Yep. And I'm just like, gosh, so many people who don't like this movie just don't seem to like girls. Yeah.
That's the other thing of just like these critical thinkers of just like going on like, oh, this thing is garbage because it's like it's got women and everything, and it's just like, oh, it's woke, and I'm just like, oh, shut the fuck up.
God. I know, right? It's like I mean, everyone's always going on about, oh, social justice warriors are ruining everything. It's just like, if you want a movie or story or whatever that focuses on the neurotypical cishet white dude, you have oceans of content to choose from, going back thousands of years, to like Greek mythology and beyond, basically. Like, you have so many options. But if I want something that focuses on a woman, I've only got a few lakes. And if I want a queer woman or BIPOC woman or disabled or whatever, like, those are puddles, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Let us splash in peace. Go away.
Exactly. And I'm just like, and a lot of the like anti-woke like media and stuff, it's just garbage. It
really is.
I was like looking at some of the stuff, and I was like, wow, this is like horrible shit. This is like just breaking all the rules in writing. Wow, holy shit. Ben Shapiro, go fuck yourself. And it's like that.
Or it's just very uncreative. Like, we've seen this story a million times before.
Yeah. And it also irks me that like some people's like, oh, this established character from a franchise, like from a comic book series, this character is like woke and everything, like the new Superman movie. Everyone like, oh,
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, and I was like, he's always been woke.
He's been woke since his first appearance. I don't even read comics, but I know that.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Superman fan. I'm more of a Batman guy. But after seeing the new Superman movie, I was like, I have to like eat more Superman media. This shit was good because
I know, right?
Because I had like the bad taste of Henry Cavill's Zack Snyder's
the Snyderverse. No disrespect to Henry Cavill. He was just working with the script that he was given, but it's just like
that seems to be like his problem. Every time he's on a potential project that's like, ooh, this could be good, it's always like the writers that fuck it up. Like
I feel so bad for him because he was he's a DC fan and a Witcher fan.
Yeah.
And he got to star in both. And like I saw the first 2 seasons of The Witcher, they were really good. And then like they dropped him.
Yeah.
And then right after, because he was pursuing the Superman DC thing, and then DC dropped him. And I'm just like, oh, you poor guy.
Yeah, I was like, because I was getting me into The Witcher. I still have like the first Witcher book and like Witcher 3 on my Switch. And I got like all 3 games on my Steam account. And I'm like, one of these days, I'm going to dive into this whole Witcher universe because it looks so cool. And I was like, the first Witcher season utterly fantastic. Utterly fantastic. I am so excited to see Cersei in Witcher 4 and just be the hot lesbian mess that she is and just like do her best Geralt.
Yeah, no, I was so happy when I saw Superman. And I saw it with my parents.
Yeah.
My mom she grew up on comics. Like she loved comic books. And so like we were talking about it on the way home and I'm just like, so Mom, how does it like compare to the comics? And her only complaint was Hawk Girl. And that specifically because like the Hawk like shriek that she makes when she's like, yanking that genocidal maniac. It makes no sense. She's an alien. She's not a bird. Why is she shrieking like that? No notes on anything else though. But like, I thought the shrieking was cool.
I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, yes, do your war cry.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I know she's an alien and not a bird, but she's a bird-like alien. Let her have a bird shriek. Like, that was the one disagreement that we had in the car. But like everything else, like I love in that movie, like, it focuses on Superman, who is a neurotypical, able-bodied, cishet white dude. But like, the Lois alone was just like, oh, thank you. Like she's saving him.
Yeah, that was
saving her, which is so nice and refreshing. And like that Superman was incredible because he is the perfect picture of healthy masculinity.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like Aragorn from the Lord of the Rings. So it's like, yeah, he's like punching bad guys in the face and everything else, but he's also like he's so compassionate. He cares. When the Justice Gang, quote unquote, shows up to fight the giant fire-breathing dragon, gives the fight to them and focuses purely on evacuation and civilian lives and the squirrel and everything else. And I'm just like, yes, thank you. This is the type of superhero that I want to see. A guy who like genuinely cares and doesn't care really what anyone else thinks of him. He's just crushed by like a parent's message being not what he thought it was. He doesn't really care about what other people think about him, and he's gonna go let himself get arrested to save the dog. Save the dog, you must.
The whole thesis of the movie is that kindness is punk rock.
Exactly.
It's just like, yes, James Gunn, you beautiful bastard. I am so excited. I've always been more of a Marvel guy, but seeing how the Marvel movies of just kind of like, ooh.
I've gotten so burned out with Marvel. After Thanos, I just
And there are some good current Marvel stuff and everything that I'm like excited for. Like the Fantastic Four movie was like pretty dope. And
I've been hearing about that too. I haven't seen it yet, but I hear it's really good. Yeah,
that's really good. And then there's like the Daredevil series that I'm just like, I've always been a fan of Daredevil, and like Spider-Man. I'm like, but like the whole like Kevin Feige kind of like going like, hey, you want some diversity and stuff? Well, we're going to have a show, but we're not going to like promote it in any ways. Ironheart, Eyes of Wakanda.
Why is this stuff failing? I don't know. Maybe because he didn't market it.
Yeah. And I'm just like, and like blaming it like, oh, I guess it was Vogue. And I'm like, no. The Marvels was a fantastic movie. So was the Eternals. Fuck y'all.
I know it's it's like, you're just not marketing it. And also like you're doing all this diversity stuff after we're all burned out. Like Iron Man came out when I was in 8th grade. Yeah. And we got Thanos when I was, right after I graduated college. Yeah. We're tired. Like it's like there's only so long you can stick with the same story before you gotta be just like, okay, I was able to watch, I saw WandaVision, I saw the Spider-Man movie afterward, and Wakanda Forever. And that's about it with MCU. I just can't anymore. And like, mostly like with these new movies and these new superhero movies coming out, I'm just so glad that we have color again. Yeah, like, definitely. Superman was just so saturated. Like it was so pleasant to see. And the Barbie movie and Into the Spider-Verse stuff. Oh, yeah. Like, I love the Miles Morales Spider-Verse. Oh, yes. Movies. I can't wait for the third one.
I can't wait for the third one either. And I wouldn't say it's like fatigue or anything, or we're just tired of it. I think people are like, all right, we want to hear better stories. And they're just like, you want the same story? It's like, no. We want a new story because like the Thunderbolts movie, that one was like really, really good.
It was.
It was the whole like stuff with like Bob and like his stuff and everything. Oh, so good. And the guy who like directed the Thunderbolts is going to be in charge of the new X-Men movie, which I'm like, all right. I'm like, please, Marvel, don't fuck this up. This is a very sensitive franchise. This is a very sensitive franchise that is connected to real world shit.
It really, really is. When did X-Men become woke? Have you not been paying attention?
Yes, and I'm also like, also Marvel, could we have like Cyclops be in a poly relationship with Jean and like Wolverine and like Jean, Wolverine, and Emma Frost?
I hate the love triangle trope. Like,
same.
I grew up on like the original X-Men movies with Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart. Like,
same.
And I liked them. Full respect. Yeah. And we saw Wolverine and Deadpool in the. We loved that. That was absolutely phenomenal. But like, I hate the love triangle trope so much, and I'm just like, okay, either all these people need to die. They either need to talk about their feelings and figure something out. Or they need to have an open relationship or throuple situation. Like,
And
I hate this whole, which one is she going to go with? Or, he's pining from afar and nobody knows. It's just like, no, let them be big bi disasters, please.
Exactly. I was like, I feel like they're just like, we need more representation of like open relationships that are healthy and everything.
Yes.
And all that stuff where it's like open communications of like all the partners like, okay, cool. Here are the established stuff and everything. All that stuff.
Don't kill them off right after. Okay. Don't kill them off. Because the barrier gaze tropes.
Yep. And like like the disposable black girlfriend trope and everything. Looking at you, Invincible.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, just so many. But yeah, no, that's one of the reasons why, like, after I introduced Oscar in the CaFae Latte, and I already had the established couple of Yarn Granny and That Grandpa, Caroline and Andy, and a bunch of people at that point in my comments have been like, okay, so like, I really want to see a polyamorous relationship because you're so like queer friendly and all that stuff. And I'm just like, well, I'm either going to have to introduce whole other characters, or I can just, like, I also, you never get to see old people be in fun new relationships, which I'm just like, two birds, one stone. Let's go.
I'm sorry.
Oscar and Yarn Granny and That Grandpa get to be freaky.
Yeah. I have some people with like Fighter Saga asking like, hey, with like LaRue having like this big crush on like Orlean and everything, could they like be in like a throuple situation with like Darcy and Orlean? I was like, no, because I feel like with LaRue, it's very much of like these feelings that they kind of like started bubbling up and they never had the chance to like talk with Orlean and be like, hey, I have these feelings. Can we like talk it out and everything and be like, yeah. And I would totally want to do like create like a pan poly couple characters and like
have not with these characters.
Yeah, not with like established characters and just like add it in the side of be like the Sega Mega Drive 64 blah and everything. But kind of like start make an organic character with that intention in mind. Because I feel like that's another writing fault that happens with a lot of characters of like some writers that will try to overcorrect themselves of when they come to realize this is what like the writers and characters are like the fan base is like thinking like, oh, okay, slam it in there, see how it works.
So yeah, no, you can't. It's one thing if it like, if it catches you off guard because it grows organically from that. It's another thing to just kind of try to cram it in there. Like another trope that I hate is the pair the spares. And this is me being aromantic asexual, but this is when like every single character in a story has to be paired up romantically with someone else. You can't end the story with any single people at all because everyone knows that a happy ending must include romance. And it's just like, fuck no, it does not. So like, I do get some people in my comments being like, oh my gosh, we really need to hook Bob up with someone. She's aromantic. No. Like, oh, we really need to hook Jack up with someone. He's 18 years old and still figuring himself out. No. And it's like, it's a very interesting relationship where, like, you know, you want to please your fans, you want to please your audience, and you do want to take their opinions and thoughts and feelings into consideration, but at the same time, it is your story, and like we have every right to say, and it really does depend on the thing. So I hate pair the spares and I hate love triangles, and I don't want to see any of that in the X-Men movies. Yeah,
definitely. And I've had like some people with Pact of the Father who are like, oh, like some of these characters would like make a cute couple, and I'm like, yeah, but I was also like, when I wrote the characters, I didn't have any intention of with their romantic chemistry apart. They're just like, they're all kind of like broken, jagged pieces that just kind of like meld together in like a corner space. And they're all just kind of like, we see each other as like these big siblings and everything. And I think also what we need more of is more platonic friendships.
Yes.
Opposite genders and everything.
Yes.
Like, one thing on writing trip that irks me very, very much is when you have two characters who are opposite genders who are like the bestest of friends, and all of a sudden one character is like, oh my God, I actually love them from the start and everything. I'm just like, ugh.
It's like, and like, I'm not saying I'm kind of doing that with Citadel Secret Demon's Nest with Olivia and Riley, but it's like you can have a friends to lovers arc.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
Be satisfied. Like that's one thing, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do with Demon's Nest, where it's like Olivia and Riley are seeing new sides of each other in this whole situation, and they're really liking what they're seeing, and you know, so that helps with that. And I did try to leave breadcrumbs in book one of like them becoming a romantic item in the future, because like Riley was thinking about that, like when people are pushing him to get married, and you know, Carry On the Family Line is just like the only person I would even consider doing that is with my BFF Olivia, because at least we wouldn't hate each other, and like we could make it work, even if we never fell in love. Like it, you know, love has nothing to do with it in Citadel marriages, but we can make it work. And like you know, Olivia also starts kind of thinking about that, where it's like, oh well, you know, maybe if I have to marry someone just for economic stability, I would probably want it to be Riley, just because I know that I would be safe and secure with them. And now they're in a situation where they don't need that. Yeah. But they're also like she's just found out that, oh my gosh, you've been committing treason for the last 3 years. Yeah. That's kind of hot.
I think if you like leave that wiggle room of like the potential when you first establish the characters, that'd be fun. But I think it's just like having more platonic characters, just like more platonic friends, be really cool. Yes. Like one of my favorite platonic friendships is Denji and Power from Chainsaw Man. Those two are like two chaotic gremlins, and they will get into shit, and they're just like, friends. All right, let's do some shit.
Exactly. And like, you know, I liked Pacific Rim because their relationship was, you know, not romantic. It was deep and meaningful, but it wasn't romantic. And like, and I try to, you know, like with my Blackwing series, we got an old man and a young woman, and they're never going to be together because he's an old gay and she's a romantic pansexual. It's just not happening. And I think that's why I really like movies like The Good, or shows like The Good Place, where like you have some romance stuff going on too, but like, you know, you also have, the focus is on the friendship. And like Michael never falls in love with any of them. And, you know, you also have the two quote unquote dirtbags, Eleanor and Jason. You know, you would think that they would be together because they come from similar backgrounds, and it's like, no, never. And Tahani and Chidi never get together, but they still all love each other because they're friends. And I agree. We definitely, and I do try to put more of that into my writing into the world, where it's like, you've got some romance, you know, here's JC and Nicole, you know, lovey-dovey toward each other, but we're mostly focused on the friendship aspect with the whole group, with Cyrus and Bob and everyone else.
And it's fun. It's fun to play with the fans of like, oh yeah, this ship is kind of cute. But I think it's also important just to kind of like remember, like have like not like concrete walls, but more kind of like wood fences of kind of like no.
If you want to go write fan fiction, all right.
Fan fiction exists. Fan fiction totally exists.
It's what I want to say. Like, I just get so boggled a little bit when people ask my permission to write fan fiction or do fan art of my work, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I've got an open policy. Like, first of all, you don't need permission; it's perfectly legal. Like, so long as you're not trying to make money off of it or take credit for my characters, you're totally in the clear, dude. I'm not going to read it.
Yeah. I had the same thing happen with me with people like ask like, hey, can I make fan art of this? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. It's not gonna be like an Anne Rice situation where I'm gonna like track you down and like snipe you down and like, no.
I like, if you want to market my stuff for free, go for it.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And it's like, you can't control the fans at all, but you can't control fan art, fan fiction. Why are you trying to put all the time and effort and energy to even try? Like, you got, especially when you could like foster that community, that creativity. Like, I'm always like really flattered when people say, hey, your story's got me writing again. Yeah. And it's like, whether it's fan fiction or original content, that's always so great. And then like down the line, I would love to have an Allie Hazelwood situation where like, in 5-10 years, someone's like, I got my start writing CaFae Latte fan fiction. And now here I am writing my own cozy paranormal mysteries type of thing. Here you go. And it's reskinned JC and Nicole solving mysteries across the country with fairies and vampires and stuff like that. Like, do that.
Yeah, hell yeah. I always help foster the ideas when someone says like, I have an idea and everything. I'm just like, I just go to the table like a proud dad from like Malcolm in the Middle, like, go on, exactly. Tell me, and I will offer my inputs and everything. Is like, all right, this is what you want to do and everything. And then it's like, and I'll just be like, also, if you need some readers or anything, just let me know. I'd totally be down for it and everything. Just, ooh.
I don't go that far, but I do love it when fans give me ideas for skits.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do all of them, obviously, but every now and then someone will be like, hey, so I used to work customer service and this thing happened to me. Or like, this is a problem that I'm currently dealing with. It'd be really nice to see Bob Hurst, the health insurance CEO that is denying me my insulin.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. I was like, what? I have like whole documents where it's like, I've got the major plot outline of the whole series. And then I also have an idea of like filler, just filler skit ideas. And that's where the vast majority of fan ideas go is there. And that way I never run out of ideas. I just peruse those and be like, you know what? I haven't done like a food servicey one in a while. Let's bang out these three. And it's so nice.
Totally.
All right, well, we've been gabbing for an hour and a half. Let me see. I'm going to ask you the last of the Patreon questions.
Sick.
And then I'm going to go get food for myself and start on the actual work I got to do for the day. Awesome. And that question is, what skit was the hardest for you to write or act?
Oh, I would have to say the hardest one would have to be Orlean coming back to the halfling's grave that belonged with the hat. Because that one, I was really afraid of like, all right, this is a very sensitive subject. And I was like, also like dealing with Orlean's mental health and how he had like huge survivor's guilt. And like, I wasn't trying to like, because TikTok can be very like, if you say certain things, it'll be like, so
the censorship is just so bad.
Yep. So I was like trying to like artistically kind of like trying to imply things of like Orlean might have gone in a path of like, and I was just like, that was like, and I was like, okay, yeah, that one was like definitely.
What was the response to it?
Everyone was like, oh, this was like a really good arc. Everyone liked it and everything. And I was like, oh, that's good. I was like,
oh my gosh, right. Yeah. I think for me, it would probably be the Eric betrayal part. Because I had planned from the start. Like I knew before he was even created and introduced, like this guy's gonna fuck shit up. And so it was like, and I hesitated a little bit right before, because I'm just like, do I really want to go through with this? Yeah. No, we've had, you know, people join Team Good Guy before. He's like, we'll do a redemption arc for him later, but he's got to fuck up first.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And it's like, I'm not a trained actress. So like, I've got a very narrow window of, you know, range.
Yeah.
And most people don't notice because I stay in that narrow window range and I write my own stuff. So, but like I can't cry on command.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time portraying negative emotions and stuff like that. And it's like, and that's before you bring in the whole TikTok censorship type of thing. So it was difficult it wasn't Eric himself. It was especially JC and Bob's reactions when they're confronting him with it. And it's just like, how are they going to do this? And, you know, so that's why a lot of times like the characters on screen tend to go stony with anger because I don't know how to act anger.
Yeah. And for me, it was just like, this was like a very serious mental health like topic and everything with like depression and like suicide and everything. And I was like, I want to treat it with like the grace and kindness and like not fuck it up and everything because there have been like multiple instances of things fucking up. 13 reasons why I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, how do we do this? How do I do this to like keep it good? So I was just like, all right, we're just like, and I when I was like analyzing and trying to deconstruct things, I realized the problem with like depicting of those things is that they always like just show everything. They just show everything. And
you like, don't have to.
That is the thing that people are missing out on their writing is that which I think people can like take advantage from like, especially from like radio shows and like in the 40s and 50s, like the radio plays and everything, where they leave things to your imagination and just kind of like let that fester and everything. If you keep it vague or like hell, go even a little bit abstract, artistic and everything with like what's going to happen and stuff, that will probably be more digestible and people will be like, oh, okay.
Exactly. And then it's not triggering to those who have real life experiences with that. Like that, when I was writing The Witch Who Trades with Death, which is about rape and sexual assault recovery, and trauma and domestic violence and, you know, all these other things, it was like, I am lucky in that I am not the 1 in 3 women in this nation who have been arrested. But I did work at a rape crisis center for a little while. And so I knew that if, you know, like I got to have trigger warnings in the front. That is non-negotiable. But like, I want to do it in a way where like it happens. Like that is absolutely confirmed, but we're not glorifying it. We're not reveling in the little detail. Like we don't even need to see, we skip it basically. And even when she's like having flashbacks and thinking about it later in the story, it is always much like, you know, it's off screen basically, off stage, where it's like, it definitely happened. It sucked. And she's traumatized by it, but we don't have to relive every little detail with her. And instead it focuses more on the healing journey and like the friends that she's making and the consensual sex that she gets to have with her romantic partner. She's been through like, originally that was Fade to Black too. And my editor was just like, come on, Chris, she's earned it. It's okay. So, but yeah, that is definitely very tricky. And like, you know, you do, I think that's one of the big advantages that books have over TikTok content, short form content, because we don't really have time to put it through rounds and rounds of sensitivity and beta readers the way that we do with a book that's coming out in like 2 years. Like that one, I run the book through all of the gauntlets. But with short form videos that you have to post every single day if you want to please the algorithm and stay relevant. You just don't have the time for that. So you kind of got to trust your gut.
And it's just like, I think like also establishing of like clear lines of like good and bad, because like one recent skit that I did with Kala for Pack the Father, it was like a con man was coming into town selling like potions and everything, but these weren't like real potions. They were just like fake potions and stuff. And they were like selling them to like needy people in like the town they're in called the Broken Coast. And the Broken Coast isn't like a law governed city. It's more kind of like a rogue town of like everyone can like live in peace and everything, or just like they're like ex-criminals or criminals in the adjacent stuff. And Kala was very much as like a con person. Even she has standards. So she went up to the guy and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of my town. It was like, not happening. And so she was like, all right, fine. I'm just going to put on my cursed ring here, which is part of my backstory. Some of my patron who I made a deal with and everything. And I was like, and she went kind of like lectured him like, we have rich people in this country. Why are you not conning those assholes?
Go after them. They actually have money.
Yeah. And like one line that I read in there, I was like, just like poor people are easier to con. I was like, I was afraid of that line because I didn't want to like hurt anybody. But it was kind of like
they don't have the guards and the security that a rich person does.
Yeah. And I think looking back, I could have probably like phrased it a bit better, but I think that was just like kind of like the core aspect of it, of just kind of like, it was just like this guy is going to say, it's like, it's gross, but it's not like exploitative gross and anything.
Yeah, no, it's more like, especially since it's coming from the mouth of a villain.
Yeah.
Like that's, you can say all sorts of crap. And if it's coming from the guy who's going to have his ass handed to him, that's fine. That's evil being punished.
Yeah. So Kala let the guy get devoured by the Nightwalker and was just like, and she gave everyone who bought the potions like free like healings and everything. So and even the characters were surprised, like, what the fuck? She don't really pays for this shit. What's happened to her? It's like, oh.
Exactly. No, there was this one time where I had an episode with Rec, who has ADHD, and he was in school and arguing with this other classmate who also has ADHD, and they were in this group project together. And what I was trying to come across is that yes, we have real mental health issues, and ADHD is a real disability, but some people take advantage of their own disability to try to get out of crap, manipulate others, and that's what I was trying to put across, but the execution fell flat because there were a few comments who were just like, I think she's saying that ADHD is not a real thing or something like that. And it's just like, but luckily that happened like right before the break I took, because I planned and filmed all my content ahead of time. So I was able to see that, and I had time to do the next skit where it was the teacher calling both of those two in. And through Drek, I was able to reiterate, it's not that you have ADHD that's the problem. It's that you're using it as an excuse to not do work and not giving any possible solutions for, the real mental block. You're just running into the mental block and going, oh, well, can't do the project. All my classmates have to do it for me. It's like, no, I have the same block, and I'm trying to find ways around it or over it. And so it ends with them coming to a solution of like finding a way around the block together with like, they're going to do their project with a puppet show or something like that because the guy's a theater geek. And so that definitely, I had the time and the ability to clarify my message, which definitely helped. And through the comments, people are like, oh, okay, all right. That makes a lot more sense. And so it's just like, so it does, sometimes you're trying to address an actual real issue, but because sometimes you suck and it doesn't work. And you got to fix that or make the YouTube apology or whatever. And it's just like,
I think it's more like, if you make a mistake on something and everything, the thing to do is like, just to like fully acknowledge and just be kind of like, yeah, I totally fucked up. Thank you for calling me out on that. And just be like, do the work to correct it and not go like the double down of people like, I didn't do anything. What the fuck are you guys talking about? And then it just explodes.
Don't be so sensitive.
Yeah. And then people kind of like exploiting it even further. And then they have to do like the big YouTube apology. I was just like, it's like all this could have been avoided if you just acknowledge, I fucked up on this. This was a big fuck up. And like, we're going to learn from this and we're going to like put it like bump. Well, not put it like in a corner, more like we're going to put it in the recyclable bin and then try to like redo it or like.
Oh my gosh. I love it when my fans front because like I have a Muslim character, but I grew up Christian. So I don't know a whole lot about, there's only so much Google can do for me. So when I introduced Husnia, I knew, okay, she's Muslim. I knew she was secretly CIA and she's a mom. And so I had I didn't have an actual hijab at the time, but I had those ninja masks that were really comfortable during the pandemic. And I put that on my head. And I had a little note in front of it saying, pretend it's a hijab, as we're making fun of me and how unprepared I am and not Muslim. And we're making fun of Husnia having a mommy mode moment with the 1,200-year-old fairy who just got a paper cut and how she's babying her a little bit about that. That was fun. The response to that video, that introduction, was overwhelmingly positive, and people were really excited. And a couple of Muslims were like, hey, so just so you know, if you're trying to portray a hijabi, she can't be wearing short sleeves. Oh, she was in a t-shirt.
No!
It's you got to cover up to the wrist.
Oh, it's up to the wrist. Okay.
I know, right? I'm just so that was great, and I was really grateful to them. So the next time she shows up, she's got a sweater on. And that became part of her, costume uniform. It's when you see me wearing this, it's Husnia. And that really helped. And I still get a laugh at that too. And I've got, a couple of other things where where she's overhearing a super stressful phone call between, the other people at the cafe and these evil witch coven who stole a dragon egg from Rethu's sister. And so she's listening in on this, and she is of course praying because she is a devout Muslim, and she wants, all right. So she's doing this, hands clasped the way that that's how people pray. And again, I got a couple of comments from Muslims going hey, loved it. Muslims pray like this, palms open, as if they're catching God's blessing type of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
I know, right? And I was annoyed with myself. So I'm that took them out of the skit for a little bit. That broke their suspension of disbelief for a little bit. But at the same time, now I'm just okay, now I know better in the future. Yeah. And if that is the worst of my mistakes, when it comes to Muslim representation in my stories, I'll take it. Yeah. That's fine. They'll be she's a little confused, but she's got spirit.
Yeah, it's up if that Falcon Winter Soldier, he out of line, but he's in the right path.
Or it's Rick Riordan, where he came out with the Chalice when he was promoting Chalice of the Gods. Yeah, and he was promoting the character art of the new characters, including Ganymedes. Yeah, and the way that our sweet old Uncle Rick promoted this handsome, skinny man was say hello to Olympus's favorite himbo. And every single comment was Rick, honey, that's a twink.
I mean, twinks can be himbos too. They can be himbos too.
But that's the worst he's done with queer representation, was getting the terminology arguably wrong. Yeah. And then it's just we don't he is a cishet guy, but he does so well with all of his representation that it's just you know what? We don't care. We love you anyway. Thank you for the book. Please give us more.
Yeah, and I think this comes with any writer or creator or anything. There's this pressure to be overly correct and overly perfect when it comes to representation, and that's only going to lead to more problems to dig yourselves holes in if you try to be overly correct and everything. It's important to be kind of rubber and just be able to when you get into the hole, that way you can kind of mold into it and everything, and be kind of see the impression and go all right, cool. Yeah. Well, we'll just. Yeah,
exactly. And that's why with my books, especially in front of Citadel, I straight up said in the author's note, hey, Olivia has, even though we never hear the words in the book because Citadel is horribly ableist and kind of backwards. So she is autistic and ADHD and possibly ADHD. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't have either of those diagnoses. So if I fucked up, here's my email address. Let me know. Yeah. And I got a handful, a dozen emails after that book came out of people being hey, you said to contact you if, we saw something up. And the overall response was, it's very positive. Yeah. The vast majority of autistic readers loved Olivia. Yeah. The only problem was okay, the non-verbalism doesn't really make sense for her age, and like just having to be that long of like years. So you might want to look into mutism instead.
Yeah.
So guess what I'm doing for book 2?
Yeah.
Like, that's a mistake I can fix. Excellent.
Yeah.
And the same with Witcher Trace of Death and like Heart of Iron. And it's like, I get that we want positive queer representation because especially in media, queer people have been like literally vilified and demonized.
Yep.
We're the like, if you have a lesbian in a 1940s film, she's the bad guy. She's literally Dracula's daughter type of thing. So like, I understand wanting queer heroes, but like they can't be bland and boring either. They need to be flawed. And have problems. And I think that's why Jennifer Charles is such a popular character, because they're very much an anti-hero. Like they're trying to do the right thing. And they usually do, but they've got anger issues. They've got wrath. In this TikTok series, they went in juvie for a while and then went to college before dropping out. In the book, they just got out of a prison sentence.
Yeah.
And so it's like, they kind of have flexible morals. Yeah. And that gets them into trouble. That has gotten them into trouble. And it's, like they, have no problems gunning down a person that's trying to kill them. Whereas Nicole is the Nietzschean Buddhist pacifist who's like, let's at least try to talk ourselves out of this, please. And I think that's why people really like the characters, because like JC feels real, even though they are not the perfect representation of a non-binary. They're not a model non-binary citizen at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I remember watching a YouTube video or seeing a video talking about let queer people be flawed. They can't be. Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, yeah, autistic too, and disabled, and just all that stuff. Like they're more interesting and fun. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sitting down with me, Nate, Dice, and Autism. This has been absolutely phenomenal. I will have Dice and Autism stuff linked in the description of this video. If you want to read his book, if you want to read some of my books, that is also going to be linked in the description. Remember to like and subscribe, and stay hydrated, everyone. Bye.